So Eddie was talking about your one-on-one battle to start practice. How'd that go today?
It was good competition. Man, I love going against him, competing every day. He brings the best out of me, man. And so, I just love going against him. Every day, it's always something, either it's inside run, one-on-ones, team, pods, whatever it is. I know it's not going to get a challenge out of him.
How has he improved this season?
It's been significant, man. Like, from when we first got here to today, it's like, it's night and day. He's an elite player. His footwork has gotten completely better, man. I see him doing extra stuff after the lifts, whether it's working on mobility in the jump rope with me. It's just certain things like that that you notice, and it's paying off like in his game. And him learning the playbook, getting it down, the way he goes out there against the ones, the twos. It's like he's dominating like he's an All-American.
Getting ganged up by an offensive line here.
Oh yeah, used to it.
David, you just mentioned probably some of it, but what are some of the things that goes into the transition for a kid coming from high school to your freshman year? What is it that makes you tough as a freshman?
A lot of it is mental. There's a lot of challenges you have to deal with as far as learning the playbook. Taking the pressure that comes with the next level of ball. So the coaches are going to be on you harder. The strength staff is pushing you in the weight room, things like that. You got to be able to make the transition smoothly. You got to be okay with messing up. Those things can hurt your confidence as a new player. A lot of young players I see now, they make some good plays and then they might have a little mess up or two, and then it messed up the rest of their practice, but they can't let that happen. So it's just things like that, making sure that you can have a next play mentality, and whether it's football, school, life, things like that.
You feel a difference then? You feel like you've made that stride this year compared to last year?
Oh, me as a player, yeah. I feel like for myself, I had a big issue with just being able to let my football, my life outside of football affect my football. So I dominated a lot of the team setting and stuff like that, but sometimes outside of that, I could let some of my body language get bad because of the stuff I had going on outside of football, whether it be my grades or something, things like that. And as a player, I had to learn how to compartmentalize, those things, separate the two, and be able to handle the pressures of outside life with football. And I feel like this year I made the jump as a player, being able to dominate that space, whether it's, in life or in football. So, like my grades, I finished with I know I made SEC honor roll thing or whatever that was. I got that, so I was proud of that. That's a big accomplishment for me, off the field. And then on the field, I've been killing it this spring. Winter workouts was a fun time for me. I'm up like 15, 20 pounds, moving better than ever. So those things, making those small improvements and, all over has been a big part of my game so far.
You mentioned put on that weight. How tough was it? And where have you noticed the difference the most?
I'd say in the weight room, definitely. A lot of people don't know, but when it comes to the weight room, I was never really a weight room guy. But I love working hard, and so when I got with Smitty, this season, it was it was the jump. He was pushing me every day, and a lot of my maxes went up a plate or two. So it's that jump helped me put on this weight, and then when we were running, I'm still moving good, fluidly, and things like that. So I love it. I love the extra weight I got. I feel like I'm holding blocks better, and I'm still with a rusher passer at an elite level.
David, what have you seen from Trent Wilson so far?
He's a hungry man. He looks like he doesn't look like a young guy. He is a young guy. He looks grown. The way he plays, he's strong, man. Seeing him work hard, it makes me feel proud because I'm able to put my arm around him. When he came here during the bowl game, I was out there coaching him. I've told him everything to do, but now it's I don't have to tell him anything. He knows what to do. He's putting the extra work in, off the field, and you can definitely see it when he's on the field.
No, go ahead.
It was a year of trial last year for the offensive line. Obviously, a lot of those younger guys had to learn on the job, experientially, getting thrown into game situations. How much have you seen the growth throughout the offseason and on into the spring from that unit as a whole?
Man, I love it. I love the guys, man. They're pushing us daily. A lot of them, they're the ones that were here last year. They know they take the pains from the season, and they've made a transformation. This year, it's a lot better. I love the guys, the way they're working, the way they're pushing, they're fighting daily to make us better, make the team better, make themselves better. I love it.
How have you seen Derek settle in as a guy that's coming in with a lot of experience?
Man, it's been amazing. I remember watching him during winter workouts, and it's you know, the way he moves as an offensive lineman, I'm like, who is this guy? And it's like, he can get out there with some of the defensive ends, you know, and look like he fits in with them, you know, like the way he jumps, the way he moves, his footwork is just next level. He's a strong dude. He knows how to, anchor well. When it comes to playing the run, he's very physical. So him as a player, having that experience, I feel like it brings a lot to our offensive line.
Hit the rewind button. Go back a year. What would you tell yourself if you could go back a year where you were spring ball this time last year?
As a player, myself, what I would tell me, life is going to be difficult. You have a lot of things that you got to, that comes with being who you are. Take those pressures and allow it to push you forward. That's what I've been doing this year. I wish I knew that a little bit sooner. I had talks with Coach Bates about everything. And those talks, made me grow as a player. A lot of the coaches on the staff, they use this as a symbol of my growth, going in that direction. But I feel like as a player, if I learned that a little bit sooner, how to, compartmentalize, those things, the daily lives, of a player and what comes with it, I feel like I would have been, my growth would have been monumental, compared to what it is. And I've grown a lot. I still got a lot of growth to do as a player. I'm not knocking myself or anything like that, but I definitely see where I've come, but I still got a long ways to go.
When do you think you started going like this instead of whatever you were doing before? Flat line, up and down? I don't know where you were before that, but
I was never really going down or anything, but
Okay.
it's just
you hit an accelerator, it
yeah,
sounds like? Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
like, I feel like after that talk with Coach Bates during fall camp, during the spring I was like second in sacks, and then fall camp I led the team in sacks during fall camp. But like I said, I let a lot of things, outside of football affect the way I was, carrying myself. But regardless of all that, I've done better. I've grown as a man, and Coach Bates has helped me a lot with that, with my family, being a bigger brother, those things like that. And it allows me to be that, for the team. I have a lot of younger guys here, so being able to give them game on how to become a better player is something I take pride in, as a human being. And so those things I definitely feel like is necessary.